Women's Day. Last weekend we had a wonderful time at the women's retreat in Shrinemont. 13 women attended and it was tremendous fun with deep and honest sharing. Every year for the past 3 years that I've led the women's retreat, I have taught a spiritual practice. The first year was praying in colour. The second was walking the labyrinth. And this year, my teaching was on how to keep a spiritual journal using the book by Ron Klug. It says, How to Keep a Spiritual Journal, a guide to journal keeping for inner growth and personal discovery. So there are many different ways to keep a spiritual journal, and none of them are wrong. It all depends what you want. I thought I would share, though, my practice with you, which I've been doing for decades now. So here is my spiritual journal. If you want an inexpensive but lovely Christian journal, they have them at TJ Maxx. Mine, the front of it, is one of my favorite verses, Psalm 37, verse 5. Take delight in the Lord, and he will give you the desire of your heart. So, my focus in my journal is to write down all the nice things that people say or write to me. My love language is words, and so I really appreciate when people express their appreciation or kindness to me in words. Often we're so busy that we don't remember and we don't really pay attention to the kind things that God puts in our path, to God's steadfast love and faithfulness every day. So I find keeping my spiritual journal and writing things down really helps me to be very intentional about remembering good things, which keeps me positive. I write down verses that speak to me. For example, this morning, Psalm 95. Psalm 94 as well, and then Matthew 7 verses 1 to 12 about ask and it will be given to you, seek and you will find, knock and the door will be opened to you. So in the back of my journal, I write specific prayer requests with the date. And I find that helpful so that instead of situations staying in my head and going round and round in my head, if I write them down, then I have the feeling that God has seen it and God will answer in God's way and in God's time. So I have on one side the request and then another column, which is when the prayer is answered and how it's answered, because of course, sometimes prayers are answered in a very different way than what we want. Also in the back, I keep a list of books, good books I have read as an aide-mémoire so that I can share those good books with others. I also keep a list of movies on another page since I don't seem to remember the names of movies terribly well. And then also at the back of my journal, I write down the pearls of wisdom that my spiritual director gives me, which is very helpful and very healing. I have had the same spiritual director for nearly 3 years, Alison St. Louis, and her insights and her faithful love in all the ups and downs of my life and ministry have just meant the world. And so I have a record of everything she says at the back of my book. So I don't spend too long writing my journal, maybe 5 minutes. And I do this almost every day because spiritual practices work best when they become an ingrained habit, a good habit. I have in the corner of my bedroom a special little table with a rock that I was given at a retreat a couple of years ago, with a candle My Bible and Forward Day by Day are there, as well as my journal and some spiritual books that I enjoy and that are helpful. So that's where I have my quiet time pretty much every single morning. And again, it's good to get into the habit of making God my priority first thing in the morning. So Psalm 95 from the Forward Day by Day is actually the Venite, which was one of my favorite songs when I was at seminary at Virginia Theological Seminary. So I thought I'd sing it as a way of inviting you into God's presence, and perhaps you could try the practice of keeping a spiritual journal. Come, let us sing to the Lord. Let us shout for joy to the rock of our salvation. Let us come before his presence with thanksgiving and raise a loud shout to him with psalms. For the Lord is a great God and a great King above all gods. In his hand are the caverns of the earth, and the heights of the hills are his also. The sea is his, for he made it, and his hands have molded the dry land. Come, let us bow down and bend the knee, and kneel before the Lord our Maker. For he is our God, and we are the people of his pasture, and the sheep of his hand. Oh, that today you would hearken to his voice. And that is S35 at the beginning of the hymnal. God bless you. Happy Tuesday.